Hi, I'm Kareem from Animal Solutions, and this is the second work update on our integrating the architecture reference framework into Aries framework JavaScript project. As you can see, the Aries framework JavaScript has a strike through here. That is because the framework was recently moved from the Hyperledger Foundation to the Open Wallet Foundation and therefore needed some rebranding. So from now on, the framework is known as Credo. So quick recap, for those who don't know, the European Commission published a document last year called the Architecture Reference Framework, and in this document various technical standards and specifications are outlined that European digital wallets will have to follow. I won't go into too much detail about the architecture reference framework itself or the individual standards that were outlined in that document. If you want to know more about that, I invite you to watch the previous work update because I go into a little bit more depth in that video. But as a quick recap, this diagram has been taken from the architecture reference framework itself. And as we can see, it outlines various exchange protocols like OpenID for verifiable credential issuance here on the left, and OpenID for verifiable presentations here on the right, as well as a set of credential formats, which you can see here in the middle. Following the architecture reference framework, we proposed 4 work packages with the overarching goal of getting the framework up to speed with the standards that are outlined in that document. So let's go over them quickly. The first one is mobile driver's license. That is it's a credential format as well as an exchange protocol that is required by the architecture reference framework and is especially used for proximity situations. So where I need to exchange credentials or credential information without an active internet connection, for instance. Secondly, we have adding support for the OpenID for verifiable credential suite. It's not a standard by itself, but it's a collection of multiple standards. Then we have adding support for the hardware security module. This is a cryptographic requirement stated in the architecture reference framework. And lastly, we have adding support for the SDJWT credential format, which is a relatively new credential format that allows for selective disclosure on JSON Web Token credentials. So funding-wise, a lot has happened since the last work update. 3 out of the 4 work packages have now been fully funded. And we've also been working on 2 of those for quite a while now. The OpenID for verifiable credential work package is coming to an end. We are now wrapping up that part of the project, as well as the support for the SDJWT credential format, which means that in the next release, you'll be able to issue and verify, and receive SDJWT credentials over the OpenID for verifiable credential protocols. The hardware security module work package has recently been funded, and we've started that work a few weeks back. Oops. So for the work updates, as I just described or just mentioned, the OpenID for verifiable credentials and SDJWT part is almost finalized. And to demo that, we have set up a little playground, which is very young still, and it's by far not perfect right now. But that allows you to, it runs on Credo, and it allows you to issue and receive SDJWT credentials and play around with them. It currently only includes the issuance side of things, but we'll be updating this over the next few weeks to also include verification. My colleague Timo will now show a little demo on how this works in combination with our Paradigm wallet.
I want to showcase issuance of an STJ credential over OpenD4VC, where we're using Aries with JavaScript. We have a web server set up on the left here with a simple front end to issue and verify over OpenD4VC. And we have the Paradigm wallet that can receive STJ credentials over OpenD4VC. So we want to issue an STJ with DID holder binding, and we'll issue it with a DID key for now. We can create a credential offer and then scan that with the wallet. We then get an offer that the STJ credential has been issued, and we can accept it. I already had one in my wallet, so now I have two. And then once it's in the wallet, we can create an authorization request, including a presentation exchange presentation definition, which requests the credential I have in my wallet now. So I'll scan the QR code, and now we can see that we have received a request and that the following fields will be presented to the verifier. I can accept it, and once it has been shared, we can see that the verification is successful. We can see the presentation definition that was used, so we queried for the playground framework to be Aries with JavaScript, and we can see the submission. We have one VC STJ credential, and then we can also see the presentation. So we can see the credential that was shared, and also the encoded variant here, which is the very long string, including also the key binding STJ for proving the key associated with the credential.
All right. Hopefully you have a better idea of the current state of the project right now. If you want to get involved, I invite you to send an email to kareem@animo.id, which is here on the bottom. And if you want to know more about the project or read about it in more detail, I invite you to read the public Google Docs documents about the project that we have online. You can see the URL here at the bottom, but I'll also put it in the description. Thank you for watching, and until the next one.